So what does happen now? Since he decided that, yeah, I don't want this anymore.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, two things, right? Like, first of all, this did not come out of the blue. We knew that he didn't want the job in 2021. That's why he didn't run in the primary, right? That's why he lost. But he's been looking for an exit. He did everything short of putting his resume on Indeed. He's been looking for somewhere to land. And the off-track betting is a state entity. It was controlled by the Republicans. Our state legislature flipped control of the off-track betting to the Democrats, and then they appointed one of the mayor's allies to the board. So this has been orchestrated over time. The other thing that's really shocking is that average voters in Buffalo have no idea how government works. Like, most people think that the deputy mayor just assumes the mayorship if the mayor steps down. It's not true. The council president is taking the mayor's place. His name is Chris Scanlon. And the unfortunate part is that the timeline is such that he waited just long enough to not trigger a special election. So again, the voters are being fleeced.
Of course. But now, is this person that's taking over an elected position, like, is he somebody that was elected to the position he's in? Is that an elected position?
So he's a councilman of the South District, which coincidentally, a lot of his constituents are police and firefighters. And this person, Chris Scanlon, was also responsible for sort of delivering that right-wing, vote to the Write Down Brown campaign. So I'm pretty sure that some deals were made to get him into the council presidency, so that when Byron left, he would assume the mayorship.
Right. It's all set up ahead of time. Like, this is something that I don't think a lot of people know about how politics, and even especially local politics, that people sit in seats and they actually feel entitled to designate who they bequeath their seat to. Right. Like, that's a thing. And they get, and they actually, people get annoyed. Our Congresswoman Frederica Wilson down here, she's one district south of us. And she is one of those people. Like, she truly believes, just like Alcee Hastings did, that it is their job to bequeath that seat to who they think should have it. That it's not through an electoral process.
Well, it's no different than in, like, Michigan, where I keep trying to remind people that Dana Nessel and most likely Pete Buttigieg are going to be the two frontrunners to run for governor, because these things are planned years in advance. There is something about the way the establishment works that I don't think the populist movements on either side, definitely more so on the left, are just not really completely comprehending as of yet.
Nope.
You have to be aware of how these chess pieces are put in place. And if you're not, they're going to run right by you. And in the case of Mr. Brown,
Unbelievable.
It's like,
do you think he planned it from the beginning, though? Like, do you think that they set this up from when he first got in there? Like, that he knew, all right, fine, we don't want Walton in there, so I'm willing to do this, but this is the escape plan?
I first got wind that he was looking for a job last November. And in maybe June, someone told me that he began moving his personal effects from his office and from the second floor. So it's been the rumors have been circulating for quite a while.
Right. And if that's when you start seeing things, then that means it was planned long before that.
Before that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we've got ourselves a little press conference that we can play some of the clip from, talking about his transition and where he's going next. Amazing that they talk about the revolving door in DC. Well, that revolving door happens. So
we should just give, like, not everybody might know the whole backstory here about this.
Byron Brown is the mayor of Buffalo. He was caught literally with his pants down against India Walton a few years ago, as was the Democratic Party.
I hate when you say literally when it's not literally.
Okay.
That's such a millennial thing to say.
Fair enough. But he was politically caught with his pants
down. Guys, he was the mayor. India challenged him.
Why don't you just explain?
I'm going to, because I'm doing better. She challenged him in the Democratic primary and beat him. And instead of having any sense of honor and accepting that, he decided to come in the general as a write-in. Is that what, right? As a write-in. And the
Yes.
Democratic Party got behind him, even though India won the primary.
And this is his fifth term that he is in.
Right. Okay. And
Yes.
so he kept the seat by winning it in the general as a write-in. And now this is somebody who 2 years in, not even, has already been planning an exit and is now leaving to go corporate whore himself wherever he's going. But yeah.
He did his duty. And
Yes,
now he's
and
getting rewarded for it.
And this job pays $295,000 a year. Now, mind you, because it's a state agency, his pension, right, is going to be now based on the salary that he makes as the president and CEO of the off-track betting.
Unbelievable.
Oof. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It pays to be a crook.
It's a racket.
It is.
It's like a total racket.
It is. But the more people are exposed to the racket that is our broken political and economic system, the faster it's going to disintegrate and people are just going to lose faith and things are going to ultimately have to change because there's going to literally be, tiki torches in the streets everywhere and it's not going to be good. So here we go.
My decision to resign and take on a new opportunity was not an easy one after nearly 2 decades as mayor. I have loved serving the people of Buffalo as mayor, but Michelle and I think the time is right to transition to a new role. I'm proud of how far we've come since I first took office as mayor. Our community is now experiencing a wave of investment and confidence like never before. We saw our first population increase in 70 years. People of all ages, backgrounds, and incomes want to live, work, and visit the city of Buffalo. Our city is safer, smarter, and more sustainable. And I'm proud to say we've hired the most diverse workforce in the history of the city of Buffalo.
Yeah, because, checking the boxes is what's important.
I think it's very telling. I don't know him from anything, but he doesn't make eye contact. He doesn't look up. He's just sitting there reading. There is nothing personable here.
And how difficult of a decision. India, how much does the mayor of Buffalo make per year? What's their salary?
I think it's around 170,000 or something like that.
Okay, so it's at least decent. It's at least decent. But but he's going high up though. He's
going high up. Not only that, but he also negotiated $900 a month for transportation. So, he doesn't drive himself. He has a driver now. And the off-track betting is in Batavia. It's a little town, probably maybe 40 miles outside of the city. So he's going to continue to have a driver, drive him to work. The thing is just ridiculous, right? The median income of a person in the city of Buffalo is probably about $28,000 to $30,000, and the mayor of the city lives this type of lifestyle and is leaving behind this legacy of poverty, particularly in the Black community on the East Side, for a job making $300,000 a year. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. And I was asked if I feel vindicated. And I said, absolutely not. I have to live here. I have to live here. I am suffering right along with everyone else. Our taxes, this is going to be our 3rd tax increase since he bashed me for saying that we were going to have to raise taxes to keep our city afloat. My home's reassessment, my home's value just increased by $130,000, and I've not made a single improvement to it, and I've only owned it for a year. The things that are happening in the city of Buffalo right now are absolutely freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of being a homeowner in a completely gentrifying area where you are at the I'm in commercial real estate, and you are at the advantage of having that ownership. But you know what? The overwhelming majority of people don't have that luxury. And now the rents are going to be completely out of control, which I'm sure they already are. And people are already having to commute from God knows how far distances. But hey,
but this is really infuriating. But so basically, he's going from one taxpayer funded salary to another. And I would just like to say that I don't think that any taxpayer funded salary should be that high. in that,
And
like that. I'm just saying, like, to me, that seems a bit exorbitant for what that is, if it's not just some sort of cash cow grift.
And get this, the off-track betting has its own history of corruption, right?
I'm
So
sure.
the outgoing president of the off-track betting just hired his 23-year-old son in a $52,000 a year job, right? So
Of course.
like corrupt Byron Brown is going to the corrupt off-track betting to do more corrupt things. No, you
Do
can't
we
make
have
this
to,
shit up.
how much more does he have to say that we have to endure?
Not much. We'll
All right.
finish it
All
up.
right. He can't even look up. He can't make eye contact.
Why is this not working?
I don't know, but
Together,
I'm not. There it
with
is.
so many public and private partners, residents, business owners, and organizations, we've improved the lives of our neighbors and moved our community forward in many different areas, from public safety to record development and historic investments in our parks and neighborhoods, affordable housing, and youth employment. I am thankful to all of you for your confidence and the support you placed in me over the years. Our shared accomplishments are a testament to the tenacious spirit and hard work that characterizes our community.
India, what's the voter turnout in a mayoral there?
I think in 2021 in the primary, there was maybe 23,000 people.
Right.
Not a lot.
Right. Like the amount of people that are with him is so small. And people don't understand that, because so few, and the reason most people don't vote is, one, they don't think it makes a difference in their lives because their lives suck. And two, they're busting ass working 3 jobs just to keep their heads above water. And they don't even have time to get engaged in politics. And that's by design.
India, no, please.
Yeah, go.
First.
Just a part of the stronghold, right, is that diverse workforce that he says City Hall has is a bunch of patronage jobs, right? So like his campaign team is basically City Hall, right? Where folks are forced to contribute to his campaign, forced to work on his campaign. Like people's jobs are dependent upon him staying in office, and they like, it's an unspoken rule that if you are not in his camp and you don't support him, that you're going to pay, you'll be punished one way or another. So like that is how he maintains this sort of chokehold on a lot of the electorate, because the city is one of the largest employers of people in the city of Buffalo.
Yeah, we have very similar situation here.
India, one of the things that I wanted to address, which I think you had touched upon shortly after the mayoral general election a couple of years ago, was what ended up happening, particularly with members of Labor, and how they went against you, even though you were the Democratic nominee. Jen went through obviously a plethora of different things when it comes to somebody like Wasserman Schultz. But one of the things that she did experience was some of the community leaders wanted to back Jen in the primary. And Wasserman Schultz basically said, "You get out of line and I will take your 501c3. It will be removed." Did Mr. Brown or did the Democratic establishment employ similar tactics when you two were running against each other?
They did all of that and more. And I mean, it wasn't even only them, right? Like I sit on the board of a local organization, and one of our largest funders, a local health insurance company, pulled their funding. Just like, and a supporter runs a large music festival every year, and one of their major sponsors pulled their funding. Like people really suffered who supported the campaign publicly, and that's something that I'm still kind of reckoning with. I feel like there's lots of people that stuck their neck out for me that I owe. And it's sad, and it's unfair.